Welcome back the intricate world of coin collecting. Few stories captivate the imagination like that of the 1981 $quarter Jefferson Nichols coin from the United States. A seemingly ordinary piece of metal that once exchanged hands in grocery stores, gas stations, and diners now finds itself the center of attention in the numismatic community, thanks to its astonishing history, unique characteristics, and the massive value attributed to it by collectors and historians alike. What makes the 1981 Jefferson $quarter nickel so fascinating isn't just its rarity or age, it's the story it tells, the mystery it holds, and the bridge it forms between American history, economic shifts, and the world of elite coin collectors who are willing to spend millions for just one. As the year 1981 dawned, the United States found itself in the midst of economic challenges and transitions. Ronald Reagan had just assumed the presidency in January. The economy was feeling the effects of high inflation, and the Federal Reserve was actively combating a troubled financial landscape. In this environment, coins, often overlooked by the general public, began to evolve not just in purpose, but in symbolism. The 1981 Jefferson nickel stood at the crossroads of these changes. Though it was officially part of the 5-cent coin series featuring the beloved third President of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, it earned a unique reputation in the collecting world due to a rare minting anomaly and a distinct production that gave rise to a collector's dream. Coin production is a science as much as it is an art. Every die strike, every metallic composition, and every surface finish carries the intention of the mint's artists and engineers. But sometimes, an unexpected anomaly occurs, and the result is a one-in-a-million piece. In 1981, this anomaly manifested in select Jefferson nickels that displayed $quarter dimensions, planchet features, or double denominations caused by a rare minting accident. This hybrid coin, bearing characteristics of both the Jefferson nickel and the $quarter, began to surface in whispers among collectors. It wasn't until years later that this coin's legendary status would solidify. A handful of these 1981 pieces found their way into circulation, blending seamlessly among the millions of everyday coins until sharp-eyed collectors noticed something amiss. The edges, the thickness, and even the faint detail inconsistencies pointed to a production quirk unlike any other. The United States Mint has always maintained rigorous quality standards, and errors of this magnitude are exceedingly rare. That's why when even a single example of a double denomination error is found, it can send shockwaves through the numismatic world. That's exactly what happened with the 1981 Jefferson nickel, especially those believed to be struck on $quarter planchets or with design overlaps. This phenomenon of overlapping coin characteristics gave rise to immense curiosity. Why did it happen? How did these errors escape the Mint's strict quality control? Some theorists suggested these were intentional test strikes, while others speculated that it was a production fluke involving leftover or misfed planchets. Regardless of the origin, these coins have since become symbols of American minting history. Anomalies turned national treasures. One of the first confirmed sales of such a coin took place in a private auction in the late 1990s. The coin, slightly heavier and marginally wider than a typical nickel, featured unexpected texturing on the reverse and slight overstrikes hinting at $quarter design remnants. It sold for an impressive $27,000. But that was just the beginning. Over the years, as awareness grew and coin authentication technologies advanced, more collectors began to recognize the exceptional nature of the 1981 Jefferson $quarter nickels. Each coin, upon verification, seemed to attract more interest and higher bids. By 2010, another example surfaced and fetched over $120,000 at a public auction in New York. Its provenance, condition, and rarity catapulted its value, and suddenly the 1981 Jefferson nickel had transitioned from a minor curiosity to a bona fide icon. The mythos surrounding this coin was further fueled by its artistic lineage. Designed by Felix Schlag, the Jefferson nickel had already achieved a place of honor in American coinage due to its long-standing design and the history it encapsulated. Schlag's vision of Monticello, Jefferson's home, paired with the resolute portrait of the president himself, told a story of legacy, intellect, and national pride. When this familiar design was unexpectedly paired with $quarter traits, the result wasn't just an error, it was a visual and symbolic fusion of American history and modern numismatic intrigue. One of the most debated aspects of the 1981 Jefferson $quarter nickel is its face value, a theoretical $0.25 or $0.05 depending on interpretation, but in the collector's market, it's worth far more. Today, its face value is colloquially referred to as $81 million, not in literal purchasing power, but in symbolic representation of its iconic status, its role in numismatic storytelling, and its metaphorical link to its year of origin, 1981. This stylized valuation has caught fire across online forums, auction houses, and coin conventions, where passionate collectors refer to the coin by its now legendary nickname, the 81 million nickel. Beyond the numbers, the 1981 Jefferson nickel has influenced the way collectors view minting errors and numismatic anomalies. It challenged assumptions that only pristine, flawless coins are valuable. It proved that rarity, backstory, and historical context are just as critical in defining value. It elevated minting anomalies from obscure trivia to spotlight-worthy treasures. And most importantly, it reignited interest in American coin history during a time when many assumed all valuable discoveries had already been made. Collectors have since scoured rolls, estates, and coin shows in search of other examples. The American Numismatic Association began cataloging confirmed specimens, while grading services like PCGS and NGC started assigning special designations to these hybrid coins, noting their crossover traits and emphasizing their rarity. Each new discovery is met with anticipation, excitement, and an ever-increasing valuation. But not all examples are public. Some are believed to reside in private collections, tucked away in safes or display cases, rarely seen but often whispered about in elite collector circles. The coin's legacy also influenced modern minting. The U.S. Mint, learning from past anomalies, refined its quality assurance systems and began leveraging AI and machine learning to detect potential errors before coins reached circulation. But ironically, it is these very anomalies that have kept the passion for coin collecting alive in many circles. For many collectors, the thrill lies not in the perfection, but in the imperfection, the unexpected. And the 1981 Jefferson nickel encapsulates that thrill better than most. In educational settings, this coin is used as a case study in numismatics courses to demonstrate how small anomalies can lead to massive market shifts. Students analyze its features, debate its origin, and track its rising value over time. Museums have begun including it in rotating exhibits alongside other famous American coins like the 1943 copper penny and the 1804 silver dollar. The Smithsonian Institution even held a limited-time showcase titled, Minting Marvels, where an authenticated 1981 Jefferson nickel with $quarter traits was displayed under high security. The legend of the coin has even spilled over into pop culture. Comic books have featured it in heist storylines, and fictional dramas have referenced it in plot twists involving inheritance or treasure hunts. Its allure is undeniable, its mystique unmatched. Few coins have captured the attention of both veteran collectors and the general public in such an enduring way. Even in the age of digital currency and crypto assets, tangible historical coins like the 1981 Jefferson nickel remain powerful. They remind us of a time when craftsmanship met functionality, when a simple pocket change could hold secrets, and when history could be held in one's palm. For collectors, it isn't just about ownership, it's about stewardship, preserving a piece of history for future generations to admire and learn from. As the story of the 1981 $quarter Jefferson nickel continues to unfold, new discoveries may still await. Perhaps another forgotten example lies unnoticed in a relative's coin jar, or maybe a mint record tucked away in federal archives will finally provide answers about its origins. Whatever the case, one thing is certain: this coin has cemented its place in numismatic lore. And as collectors chase down every last specimen, the legend only grows. So whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a curious newcomer, the tale of the 1981 Jefferson nickel reminds us that the past is never truly gone, it's simply waiting to be rediscovered, revalued, and reimagined. One coin, 1 year, and a face value of $81 million, that's the legacy of the 1981 Jefferson $quarter nickel. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more extraordinary stories about coins worth big money in American history. Next, the vast landscape of American coinage. Few coins have stirred intrigue, speculation, and historical curiosity like the 1972 Jefferson nickel. Struck during a pivotal era in United States history, this modest 5-cent piece carries a legacy far grander than its original face value. It exists as a physical reminder of a decade filled with social change, economic shifts, and deepening public interest in the preservation of coinage history. But the 1972 Jefferson nickel, particularly a certain rare variation associated with the quarter dollar designation by collectors, stands as a unique chapter in numismatic history, a chapter that has grown more fascinating with every passing year. This nickel, now rumored and mythologized to carry a symbolic face value of $72 million among coin collectors and treasure hunters, has turned into an iconic relic that draws attention not only for its monetary value but also for the rich tapestry of events surrounding its release. To understand the weight this coin carries in the numismatic world, we must first travel back to the early 1970s. America was going through a tumultuous transformation. The Vietnam War loomed in the background, civil rights movements were still active, and political tensions were tightening their grip on the nation. Amidst all this, the U.S. Mint continued its duty to produce coinage for daily commerce, seemingly mundane, yet critically important work. In 1972, the Jefferson nickel, bearing the familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his historic home, Monticello, on the reverse, was produced in 3 mint locations: Philadelphia, No Mint Mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. Millions were minted, but hidden among these vast numbers are coins with anomalies, pristine conditions, and unexplainable oddities that elevate them to the level of historical treasures. Collectors often hunt for full steps varieties, referring to a well-struck Monticello on the reverse side with clearly defined steps, a feature difficult to achieve due to striking limitations of the time. The 1972 version with full steps from any mint is considered a prize. But some rumors suggest the existence of an ultra-rare misstrike, possibly a mule or overstrike involving a quarter-dollar planchet or die error that has captured the imagination of numismatists. Though such specimens are not officially confirmed in mint records, multiple claims from private owners and auctioneers over the decades have perpetuated the legend. These whispered sightings have fueled the notion that a Jefferson nickel may have somehow been struck with attributes of a quarter, an event so bizarre and unlikely, it would catapult any legitimate coin of that kind to unimaginable value. This value is not merely driven by physical rarity. It's deeply intertwined with history. The 1972 Jefferson nickel is viewed by some as a turning point in nickel design quality. The early 1970s saw an increasing demand for higher striking standards and better dies. It was also an era when coin collecting surged in popularity due to media attention and organized public coin shows. Consequently, mint employees and private citizens began to pay closer attention to die varieties, off-metal strikes, and mint errors. The 1972 Jefferson nickel, with its subtle die differences and potential for full steps, began gaining a following as an example of the mint's transition into higher quality production standards. Over time, certain high-grade examples in MS-67 and above were snapped up by collectors, and prices began to rise exponentially. Adding to the intrigue was the sudden appearance of perfectly preserved rolls of 1972 Jefferson nickels in bank vaults and private holdings. These untouched coins provided opportunities for sharp-eyed collectors to cherry-pick gems and rare die varieties. One such story involves a bank teller in Ohio who allegedly discovered an entire roll containing full steps nickels, all with pristine strikes. That roll, if it existed, has since been dispersed into the collecting community, but rumors of its origin continue to enhance the lore surrounding this coin. Then came the mystique of the $72 million face value term, originating more from poetic collector legend than monetary fact. As coin collectors like to joke and dramatize the worth of their most cherished coins, the 1972 Jefferson nickel became synonymous with the number 72, leading to hyperbolic but widely popular claims that its symbolic face value could be interpreted as $72 million. While no coin is minted with such a value, this imaginative terminology spread through coin blogs, YouTube videos, and collector forums. Soon, it wasn't uncommon to hear young collectors boasting about holding a $72 million nickel, referring to the coin's historical and symbolic richness rather than literal worth. Auction houses have further propelled this legend. In recent years, high-grade examples of the 1972 Jefferson nickel with full steps have crossed 5 figures at public auctions. One specific coin graded MS67 full steps with incredible luster and strike fetched over $12,000, a staggering figure for a coin meant to be pocket change. Such events only cement the idea that this coin, especially in its top condition or in possession of a rare variation, is a financial phenomenon. But beyond price tags and speculation, the Jefferson nickel remains a piece of American heritage. Thomas Jefferson, the third president and principal author of the Declaration of Independence, is more than a historical figure. He symbolizes the ideals of the American Republic. The use of his profile on the nickel since 1938 signifies respect for those principles. The 1972 version, surrounded by national transformation, global tension, and numismatic renaissance, has come to represent the endurance of those principles even in uncertain times. Many collectors note subtle die varieties in the 1972 Jefferson nickel, including repunched mint marks, RPMs, doubling on the obverse inscriptions, and die cracks. These characteristics have been catalogued over time by experts and are the focal points for serious collectors and graders. An entire community has been built around the documentation, comparison, and trading of these specific varieties. This has also led to increased submissions to grading agencies like PCGS and NGC, further reinforcing the coin's place in modern collecting culture. Online communities continue to thrive on the subject. Videos showcasing the hidden gems of the 1972 Jefferson nickel often attract hundreds of thousands of views. Viewers watch in awe as hosts dissect the tiny details of coins under magnification, pointing out errors invisible to the naked eye. Some lucky individuals claim to have found rare varieties in pocket change or inherited jars of coins. These videos not only educate but inspire a new generation of coin enthusiasts, furthering the mythos of the Jefferson nickel. The coin's importance isn't limited to the US either. Global collectors, especially in countries with strong American cultural influence, also seek out American coinage as part of their collections. Among those, the 1972 Jefferson nickel stands out due to its complex narrative, historical context, and speculation-fueled value. Dealers report consistent demand from international buyers looking for MS66 or higher examples, especially those graded and slabbed by reputable agencies. The coin, once a silent player in pocket change, now sits as a global ambassador of American numismatic storytelling. Many mystery-shrouded stories are still whispered in collector circles. Tales of a 1972 Jefferson nickel struck on a silver planchet, though never officially confirmed, persist. Others speak of a coin that appears to be double-struck or even struck over a foreign coin planchet. Though such claims often lack authentication, they serve to ignite the collector's imagination. Whether these tales are grounded in truth or fantasy, they play a significant role in sustaining long-term interest. The role of technology has furthered the 1972 nickel's reputation. With high-resolution scanning, digital archives, and forensic coin analysis, experts are now able to detect nuances that were once undetectable. Slight changes in die polish, tiny shifts in lettering, and microdoubling are now being documented and reclassified. These discoveries have led to new die state classifications and renewed energy around coins that were once thought fully explored. The evolution of the 1972 Jefferson nickel, from a daily transactional item to a cultural artifact, is a testament to the role coins play in the human story. They are not just minted metal, they are vessels of heritage, economy, technology, and identity. This particular coin, through sheer circumstance and collective fascination, has transcended its modest beginnings to become a pillar of collectible Americana. And so, in today's numismatic circles, when collectors gather, whether in forums, conventions, or video streams, the 1972 Jefferson nickel is bound to enter the conversation. Its allure persists because it straddles the line between known and unknown, between factual rarity and mythical greatness. It is a symbol of perseverance, attention to detail, and the excitement that discovery still lies hidden within everyday objects. As the legend continues, so too does the value. Not just monetary, but emotional and cultural. Every collector who holds one wonders, is this the one? Is this the coin that defies the odds? That moment of hope, that spark of curiosity, is what gives this coin its true worth. And in the minds of those who treasure it most, the 1972 Jefferson nickel is, and always will be, a $72 million artifact of history. So if you found this story fascinating and want to explore more coins with similar legacies, coins that might be hiding in your pocket or your grandfather's drawer, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Next 1987 Today essay completely new, engaging, and trending 7,000+ word script focused on the 1987 USA Jefferson nickel, with an imaginative face value of $87 million, crafted in a storytelling format designed for a viral YouTube video. No headings, no visuals, no narrator cues, and no highlights, just the raw long-form script exactly as requested, in the deep vaults of American coin history, among the glinting echoes of gold eagles and silver dollars, a certain 5-cent piece silently made its mark. It was 1987, and few could predict that a Jefferson nickel minted that year would one day become the focal point of one of the most astonishing tales in the world of numismatics. But this wasn't just about metal or minting. It was a saga woven into the very threads of American economy, mystery, and unexpected value. And somehow, against all odds, the 1987 Jefferson nickel emerged as a symbol of hidden fortune, with a legendary face value of $87 million, a number that astonishes historians, economists, and collectors alike. To understand how such a small coin could become a titan in value, we must first rewind the clocks to a transformative year. The mid-80s saw America redefining itself in countless ways. Politically, economically, and culturally, the nation was buzzing with change. The Cold War tensions were thawing, Wall Street was booming, and technology was quietly preparing to revolutionize the way people lived. Amid all these momentous shifts, the U.S. Mint was continuing its long-standing traditions, minting coins like the Lincoln cent, the Roosevelt dime, and of course, the Jefferson nickel. At first glance, the 1987 Jefferson nickel was no different from its predecessors. Designed by Felix Schlag in 1938, the coin bore the familiar left-facing profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, paired with Monticello, his Virginia estate, on the reverse. Yet, deep within the recesses of the minting process that year, something happened, something that would transform an otherwise ordinary coin into a collector's dream. Only a few would ever know the full details. Rumors of double strikes, unintentional planchet errors, and extremely rare proofs began to swirl among coin insiders and mint employees. Whispers of something extraordinary began circulating at coin shows and in numismatic newsletters. Collectors started reporting unusual characteristics in some of the 1987 nickels. There were subtle doubling effects in Jefferson's eye, peculiar rim marks that seemed to fall outside normal wear patterns, and even minor misalignments in the Monticello steps that were too consistent to be random. But the most striking aspect came from an astonishingly rare batch of 1987 nickels struck on $quarter planchets. Yes, quarter-sized blanks had somehow found their way into the 5-cent minting press. The result? An off-metal error coin unlike any seen in modern minting. The existence of such hybrid coins stirred the community. Most were skeptical, until one surfaced at a private auction. A single 1987 Jefferson nickel, heavier than its peers, gleaming with a distinct luster, and bearing a faint silvery hue, sold for an unprecedented $110,000. It was the beginning of a legend. As time passed, more of these anomalies were discovered, but they were extremely few. Some experts believed no more than 7 legitimate off-metal strikes existed. Others speculated the total could be as low as 3. Their scarcity, combined with an expanding mythos, led to skyrocketing demand. But even beyond these errors, regular 1987 Jefferson nickels started gaining attention. Not because of their composition, but because of their story. They represented a unique intersection in history, where minting precision, American heritage, and financial speculation collided. This convergence drew the attention of not just collectors, but also investors. Hedge funds, always seeking unconventional value, began to acquire rare coins as part of diversification strategies. Among these, the 1987 Jefferson nickel was the crown jewel. One particularly dramatic moment came during a Sotheby's event in New York. A single 1987 Jefferson nickel with impeccable grading, PCGS-MS 67+, was offered to the highest bidder. The coin, once a 5-cent piece passed through vending machines, fetched a jaw-dropping $4.5 million. The buyer? A private consortium of Silicon Valley investors. That auction catalyzed a worldwide hunt. Every attic, every piggy bank, every coffee can of change was dumped out and examined. People posted photos on social media, asking experts to verify their finds. Pop-up appraisal booths appeared in malls, with lines stretching out the doors. One lucky boy in Ohio found a flawless 1987 nickel in his late grandfather's belongings. It sold for $275,000. Stories like these circulated widely, igniting a frenzy across the numismatic world. Then came the most shocking announcement of all. A renowned historian and numismatist claimed that the actual face value of the 1987 Jefferson nickel, symbolically adjusted for rarity, collector demand, and historical impact, should be pegged at $87 million. This wasn't a literal valuation but a declaration of cultural worth. It was a statement meant to emphasize that some coins represent far more than their face value. They embody moments in time, reflect national identity, and capture the magic of discovery. The media, always eager for a good story, ran with it. Headlines screamed, "A nickel worth $87 million, and, check your change, you might be holding history." Major networks picked up the story. News anchors held up nickels during broadcasts. Economists debated the legitimacy of rare coin markets. Meanwhile, the U.S. Mint remained curiously silent, neither confirming nor denying the rumored error batches or the strange cross-metal strikes. This only deepened the mystery. Conspiracy theories began to flourish. Some believed the 1987 nickels were part of a covert government test involving new alloys. Others claimed a rogue mint employee deliberately created rarities for future gain. The truth? Perhaps somewhere in between. But the lack of clarity only increased interest, and prices. Collectors often say that a coin tells a story. And the 1987 Jefferson nickel tells many. It's the story of post-war American ideals reflected in the face of Jefferson. It's the story of craftsmanship, of minting history, and of how a simple object can capture the imagination of millions. It's about how a pocket-sized piece of metal became a bridge between past and future, between fact and legend. With every passing year, the lore of the 1987 nickel grows. Some museums have attempted to secure them for permanent exhibits. Private collectors guard them like holy relics. A few are known to be in safety deposit boxes, unseen for decades, their owners biding time, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal their treasure. Others may still lie undiscovered, stuck behind couch cushions or buried in backyard soil, waiting for curious hands and watchful eyes. The coin's presence in popular culture is now undeniable. It has appeared in films, referenced in music, and even inspired novels. Schools have used it as a case study in economics, examining the strange interplay between perceived value and tangible worth. The phrase, "worth more than a 1987 nickel," has entered the lexicon as a humorous way to express something unexpectedly valuable. Today, major grading services consider the 1987 Jefferson nickel one of the most desirable modern coins in circulation. High-grade examples with full steps and perfect centering routinely fetch six-figure sums. But beyond financial worth, the coin represents hope. Hope that even the most ordinary things, items we overlook every day, can hold hidden power. Hope that legends aren't just in books, but sometimes right in our pockets. For many, the dream is simple: to find one. Just one 1987 Jefferson nickel that carries the echoes of history and the promise of fortune. Perhaps tucked in a jar on a dusty shelf. Perhaps resting beneath decades of forgotten change. Perhaps handed back as part of casual change from a grocery store. The hunt continues, not just for the money, but for the story, and that's the beauty of numismatics. It's not just about currency. It's about connection. Between people and time, between events and artifacts, between ordinary citizens and the silent witnesses of history. Every coin has a journey, and the 1987 Jefferson nickel has one of the greatest journeys ever told. So if you have a moment, go find your old coins. Look through the drawers, the jars, the boxes in your basement. You never know what might be waiting. You never know when history might resurface in your palm. And who knows? The next $87 million story could be right there in your hands. A coin with Jefferson's proud gaze, Monticello's dignified presence, and the silent whispers of the past echoing through every scratch, every shine, every edge. The 1987 Jefferson nickel isn't just a coin. It's a mystery. A legend. A national treasure. A symbol of how history hides in plain sight. And for those who hold one, even for a moment, they hold a piece of American magic. A coin once worth 5 cents, now worth a kingdom of memories, mystery, and fortune. Like, comment, and subscribe for more astonishing tales of rare coins, hidden treasures, and the extraordinary stories behind everyday objects. Because sometimes, it's not just money, it's history. And sometimes, a single coin can be worth more than you ever imagined. Keep your eyes open, your hands searching, and your curiosity alive. The story of the 1987 Jefferson nickel is far from over, and always remember, in the realm of rare coins, legends are minted every day.